Welcome to my channel where we discuss various topics related to Quebec and Canadian real estate. My name is Joseph Noor. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the province of Quebec. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about property co-ownership. There's going to be multiple video on the topic because there's a lot of element that we need to unpack. And there's a lot of details that is important for you to know, whether you're looking to buy a co-ownership or you're looking to sell a co-ownership. So without further ado, let's start in today's episode. I'm going to be talking about or explaining the three types of co-ownership that you will typically find in the province of Quebec and most of Canada. So the first one is divided co-ownership. The second one is divided co-ownership. And then the last one is co-ownership by share. So divided co-ownership, undivided co-ownership, and co-ownership by share. And so let's start unpacking each of those so that you understand the differences. So the first one being divided co-ownership. Typically what you'll have is a property when it's divided co-ownership. It's divided into fraction basically, and each fraction has a lot number, which means that you can buy or sell that lot number. And because we're talking about co-ownership, there's usually going to be common area, and those common area could be available for all the co-owners, or it could have exclusive right. So some co-owner might have some exclusive right to specific common area, which we will unpack in a future video. There's typically two types of divided co-ownership. So the most popular one is the residential tower. So when you hear condo, and typically that's what people associate co-ownership with, residential towers, that's typically called a divided co-ownership. What is less popular and people sometimes confuse is row or townhouses. Sometimes you will see that as a form of co-ownership as well. And you have even cottages that share common area that becomes a co-ownership, a form of co-ownership. Secondly, you have what we call undivided co-ownership. So the difference between divided and undivided, if you look at a property X, typically that property X, if it's divided co-ownership, means it's divided into fraction, and each fraction has a lot number. When we talk the difference with undivided co-ownership, that same property only has one lot number, and each co-owner owns a certain percentage in that property. So example, or the most popular form of undivided co-ownership is when 2, 3, or 4 people or multiple party put together their capital to buy an income property under their joint personal credit, not under a corporation. So let's just say you and I decide to buy a sixplex unit. We're depending on how the agreement that we sign, we will own, for example, 50%. So the sixplex has one lot number, but each of us own a certain percentage within that building. And when you have those kind of form of co-ownership, and we're going to be unpacking undivided because there's a lot of things you need to think of. But for the purpose of today's episode, what you need to remember with undivided co-ownership is that usually there's an agreement among the purchaser, and that agreement will have multiple components of it, such as how the property is to be used by the different co-owner, how the maintenance fee are going to be shared, how the management is going to be conducted, and in the event that one of the co-owner wants to sell his share, what is the process to follow. So that's undivided co-ownership. And then the last one is co-ownership by share, which is the exact same thing as undivided co-ownership. The difference is instead of owning it under your personal name, co-ownership by share is typically owned by a corporation that strictly holds real estate property. And typically you will have shareholders that own the company. So when you do a transaction, it's usually somebody buying or selling shares of the corporation that holds typically real estate property. And so those are the three forms of co-ownership. So as I mentioned, so you have divided co-ownership, undivided co-ownership, and co-ownership by share. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.